know you joined the team right before they went to the bubble last season. Just talk about the pressure that was on you because you were basically playing for a new contract. And also, what are your thoughts on the Mavs playing the Lakers on Christmas Day in a game against the Lakers that, you know, millions and millions of people around the world will be watching that game?
Yeah, it was pressures for sure. Like you said, I had been off a team for 4 or 5 months at the time, so and the natural would always look like pressure. Me, like you know me now enough. I'm a big faith type of guy, so going into that whole situation, I was just preparing the whole time, watching a lot of film, seeing where I could be effective and where I could help the team on both ends of the court, and the opportunity just presented itself right away with Game 1 in the bubble. As far as the Christmas Day game, I think I think we're all excited about that. Obviously, it's the world champions, LeBron and the Lakers, primetime game. You know, it's like a dream come true. You know, you live for them type of games. I think we're all preparing now, mentally and physically, to be ready for the 25th. Well, we got games before that, but to be ready for all the games we have coming up.
What are your impressions of James Johnson? This is a guy that we all know he's an MMA fighter.
I told him he gonna have to give me some of them tips, man. First day, I told him I'm trying to get some practice on the side. He said he got me, but he from day one, man. He's been very vocal. You could tell, a leader is just who he is. He goes out his way to make sure he's helping, not only the rookies but guys that's been here, and that goes to show a lot about your character. To be able to come in and not care about what others think. But to continue to be yourself and to be that leader, to tell guys what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear, we're gonna need that from him all year. So we're all glad to have him.
Okay, Dana Larson, Fox Sports Southwest. Go ahead, Dana.
Hey Trey, thank you so much for your time. Really quickly, back to the bubble. I mean, you truly were a revelation.
Thank you.
In that experience there, and I wanted to know more about what you learned about yourself handling that situation, and what your emotions were and feelings about signing a 3-year deal, really turning that into a great situation for yourself in the future.
Well, first and foremost, I'm blessed. I thank God every day, for the contract that I just signed. I thank Mark, Donnie, Coach Carlisle, my parents. I have a great support system, so those are all pluses when you go into pressure situations, when you have people in your corner regardless of what happens, and I think that's my story, going into the bubble. Like you said, it was a lot of emotions, a lot of different emotions. Some days I was high, some days I was a little down. Just having to fight through that with a lot of uncertainty. I learned a lot about myself. To be honest with you, I learned that, even going into situations that don't look the brightest, if you stay true to yourself, if you stick to what you believe in, and you trust your work, even in a situation that you might be uncertain, it could come out and turn out to be, the situation that I'm in now. So I'm very grateful. I don't take it for granted. I know that there's a lot more work to do, and we had a dog fight that first round last year. We felt like we could have won that round, but I think we learned from it, and we're going to try to build this year from those experiences.
Okay, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. Brad?
Yeah, hey Trey. A few weeks after the bubble, you talked to Kelly Kaplan from our staff about the fact that you did have COVID. Yeah. And I wondered, going into this season with all this uncertainty, there's no bubble now.
Yeah.
Does that change you think that's going to change your perspective about going into the season? You've dealt with COVID. Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't a serious case of it, but how does that change your, are players asking you how it was like to go through COVID, things like that?
Yeah, I've definitely had my fair share of convos with, some of the guys on the team about, my experiences. More so when we were in the bubble. I talked about it a lot with them when we were in the bubble. honestly, we haven't really talked about it a lot as of late. You know, we're all adjusting to a very unique situation with having to test before practice and, you know, all of the demands that come with, you know, the pandemic. So, yeah, it's you know, it's something we all have to adapt to. For me, I did have it, you know, as you all know, you know, I spoke on it, you know, a lot 2-3 months ago, and there was an article about it, and it was a very unique situation. I had to quarantine in the Virgin hotels for, I think it was 3 weeks, 4 weeks, almost a month, and I got a little nervous because I kept testing positive, and in between those positives, there were some negatives, so I was getting a little confused and getting flustered. You know, at the same time, I'm still trying to prove myself, you know, and I hadn't even got to the bubble at the time yet. So these are all the thoughts that was playing on my mind. Is it the end? Is it over? And for me, you know, me looking myself in the mirror, knowing, you know, all the people that count on me on a daily basis, and all the work that I put in, all the advice that I give to guys, athletes that's younger than me, it would have looked silly to just kind of just roll over and kind of let Corona, you know, determine, you know, how things played out for me last year. So I took the, you know, the necessary steps. Every morning I woke up, I took my medicine. I changed my diet. I stopped eating fried foods, and I wasn't really drinking a lot of juices, a lot of pops. I was drinking nothing but water. I was just doing extreme stuff because I was desperate at the time. And I try to look at that situation and look at my situation now, and I still want to keep that same approach, because that approach is what, you know, is what helped me perform the way that I did.
Okay, Chuck Cooperstein, Mavs Radio.
Hey Trey, how you doing? First off, how does it feel to wear number 3 again?
Thanks, good. I'm good. It feels great. It feels great. Me and Tim talked about it. He's like, man, you back at your number back in college, because, you know, he had this number, and I was like, yeah, man, I've been looking for it the last couple years. I've been trying to get it, but every time somebody already has it. But it feels great to have it back, man.
And today was the first day you guys could do 5-on-5, right?
Yes.
And so what was that like, getting the band back together?
It was good to get up and down the floor. Coach really didn't have us compete at all today. He did a lot of teaching, teaching with putting in sets for the new guys, for the rookies, and the new guys that's here. A lot of teaching on the defensive end, what we do, our terminology and things. So I'm sure tomorrow we'll play a lot, but it felt good to be able to, you know, at least do dummy offense, get up and down, get a feel for the court again.
Okay, we'll go with Kelly Kaplan. Kelly?
Long-term contract was obviously a focus, but why, when we talked throughout the offseason, why were the Mavericks such an emphasis? Why did you want to return to Dallas so badly?
I think the system fits my game. I think, you know, the personnel, from coach all the way to the last player on the bench, I feel comfortable here. And I think the bubble experience kind of solidified that for me. When I left, I started thinking about, you know, what was next for me, you know, what type of situation that I want to stay in, or what type of situation that I want to go to. And Dallas was always number one, because I felt like Coach Carlisle, first and foremost, trusts me. He believes in me. And when you have a head coach that believes in you, you know, I feel like that's half the battle. The other half is actually going out there and producing. So that was always comfort for me, is knowing that I had a head coach and a whole coaching staff in my corner that knew what I could do and knew the value that I brought to this team. So I always kept that in mind. And when it was time to negotiate, you know, the business side of things, I told my agent that. I told him that realistically I want to stay in Dallas. We know that it's a business, and I know how things go, but they're priority number one, and we were able to make it happen. So I'm thrilled to be back.
Okay, Ryan Klein.
Hey, this is Ryan Klein from Mavs China. I'm actually asking a question on behalf of a fan from China who goes by Joe He's wondering just what are your expectations generally for yourself this coming season?
Personally, producing at a high level on both ends of the court. I won't throw out numbers or anything like that, but I feel like I can make a huge impact, not only offensively but defensively, and be a pest and be a game changer. And I want that to be kind of, my niche is, he could change the game, rather it be scoring, rather it be attacking, penetrating, and breaking the defense down to get somebody else's shot, or rather it be picking up 94 feet to, change the flow of the game on the defense end. That's kind of my narrative now. I feel like that's my niche, and I want to go into this season as a game changer, a guy that can come in and make plays and make an impact immediately.
Okay, Valencia King. Valencia?
Hey, Jeff, I appreciate you taking the time. You represent the Midwest every time you step out the court. Very proud. My father's from Cleveland, Ohio, so I understand it. But talk to me, how much do you credit your hometown for the player you are today?
I give it all the credit, man. Columbus, Ohio, is where I'm from. A lot of people ask, well, why did you go to Michigan? I grew up in Columbus, grew up an inner city Columbus, Ohio kid. Grew up watching Ohio State and Michigan against each other. Long story short, Ohio State recruited me, but didn't offer me the scholarship, and Michigan did. I ended up going to Michigan, and but now when I get questions like this, I still have to give credit to where it all began. That's Columbus, Ohio. Just growing up, in rec leagues throughout my youth and playing outside all the time. Always playing up. My dad always had me playing up, getting beat on, and that just helped me. I think even being a smaller guy, that helped me put that chip on my shoulder and know that every time I step on the court, I have to have an edge. So I always pride the Midwest on my back. Not only Columbus, my mother is from St. Louis. My grandfather was born in Detroit, so I kind of take pride in that whole region just because it kind of, tells a story about who I am.
Okay, Jessica Armstrong, go ahead.
Hey, Trey.
Hey.
Defense trying to pick up on what Ryan said, you're talking about being a pass. Defense is the name of the game. How are you specifically trying to improve that side of the game? Because we know offense is what you're known for.
Yeah, getting smarter. I think that's the point in my career that I am on the defensive end is actually knowing what the offense wants to do and being able to dissect, the offense. And I think somebody who I've been watching a lot on that end of the court is Chris Paul. He does a great job. He already knows what the offense is going to do, and that comes from hours of film study, And for me, I feel like I'm no longer to the point where it's like I'm not interested in defense. I'm very interested, and I'll give 100% effort, but sometimes that's not enough. You could give your all, but it's about giving your all at the same time being smart and making the smart reads and adjustments rather than just playing 100% out there. And I think that's where I'm at now on defense is being more precise on decision making when I am away from the ball or when I, am on the ball guarding somebody.
Okay, a couple more, Trey. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Becca, go ahead, Becca, Mavs Digital.
Hey Trey, it's Becca from
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
I know we talked about this. I'm good. I know we talked about this a little this summer, but now that you're back in Dallas, for the near future, and you're back in the city, how have you, meshed with the chemistry of the team and back with the guys, on the team that were with you back in Dallas a couple years ago?
It's been easy, to be honest. I think the guys that's been in the bubble, we kind of feel like, we're back right away. So it kind of feels like we were just around each other a couple weeks ago. But with the new guys, I think we all are going out our way to make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home. And I see a group of guys, that aren't going to have a problem getting along with each other. It's easy to say that day one, but, we have rookies, we have vets, we have guys from all different walks of life, and guys who've experienced all different experiences in this league. So I think there's enough wisdom on this team for guys to help each other. We don't have to figure it out. I think we have the talent to make a run. We just you know, obviously you have to figure it out and, you know, put it together.
Okay, final question will be from Dorothy Gentry. Go ahead, Dorothy.
Hi, thanks for your time. Trey, how have the events of 2020 changed you, one, as a black man, two, as an athlete, and how would that affect how you approach this season?
Good question. 2020 has been crazy to say the least. With everything going on in the world, as an African American athlete, you know, you are cautious and aware. Every day, you know, you're not viewed as an athlete by the world. You know, you might be viewed as an athlete by this particular group, but when you walk out those doors, you know, we all kind of say the same thing. It's definitely something that's conscious, that's on our mind. To be aware of, you know, our surroundings. So like you said, 2020 has been tough because, you know, we know that it's not all cops are not all crooked cops, but you know, with just events that's happened, it's hard to perceive who are good cops, who are, you know, corrupt cops, and that's an everyday battle. That's, you know, bigger and deeper than basketball. We obviously had the luxury to come here every day for 2 to 3 hours and kind of get away from that, and, you know, kind of free our minds from it. But when we leave here, we have to face reality again. And I think our influence, the platforms that we have, you know, we have to continue to use them in the right light so we can make this world a better place. You know, I think it's bigger than basketball. And at this point in my career, I know that, yeah, everyone wants to see you perform and play well, but, you know, it's bigger about what type of person you are. And I think that's what 2020 has kind of showed us all.